Just like we would stop eating food that is bad for us, or we would break up with a partner that is obviously toxic and terrible to us, we are also allowed to walk away from friendships that are no longer aligning with us, serving us. Maybe they're just a terrible human being in general, whatever it may be. We're allowed to walk away. So I've gathered up a list of the 10 types of friends that you need to drop right now, today. And then after I give you this list, I am going to talk about how to deal with these types of people, what to do, how to cut them off, and everything in between. Also, some of these may be a little bit obvious, but just like with relationships, we can also wear the rose-colored glasses with friendships as well. So this video is just a little reminder to take off those glasses and be cautious of the 10 types of people that I'm about to list right now. Oh my gosh, hello! I also have the beans joining me in my room today, so if you hear a beep or two, it's just these little things. They make noise. That's what they do. I've got a film girlfriend. I can't keep doing this all day.
Yes, you can.
Number 1 is the friends that play hard to get. A friend who treats you like an uninterested fuckboy is not worth your time. This is the type of friend that refuses to hang out with you even after multiple attempts of trying to hang out. They're not replying to you for weeks at a time. They're just not interested. They're nowhere to be seen. It's very one-sided is what I'm trying to say. And you're the one that is doing the following up, the organizing, the reaching out. You are chasing this person and you're getting nothing in return. And they're like actively posting on socials with other friends as well. And like, I must admit, sometimes there are periods of life where me and my friends don't talk for weeks on end because life just gets in the way. You know, we're busy, we're dealing with something. Maybe their job is more prioritized at the moment. Maybe they're a family now. Like, things change, things happen, and that's so fine. But I know for a fact that there's no ill intent or any mind games behind their absence. It's just pure chaos of life. It's just life. Your friends will be on the same page as you when it comes to how you connect and how you maintain the friendship, and it's just going to feel so easy. Like, it's not going to be hard, and there's going to be no such thing as mind games, because let's be real, mind games get you nowhere. If you want a genuine, real connection, mind games are only going to hinder that. So if you have to chase, give, exhaust yourself to keep a connection alive, I would honestly just let that fizzle out. There is no point to that. It sounds so exhausting, and it is so exhausting. I've been in that situation, and it is just so much better for you and your well-being to just let that fizzle out. Goodbye. Number 2, they don't take any accountability. I have had to deal with this type of person in the past quite a few times, and in all honesty, I'm over it. Now, don't get me wrong, it can be a very big thing for people to realize that they've messed up or they're in the wrong, and it takes a lot of guts for someone to apologize for something that they've done, for their crappy behavior, whatever it may be. But by the time you're an adult and you are wanting genuine, real connections, accountability is a must. Say it louder for the people in the back. I'm sure every single one of us has been a bad, crappy friend to somebody in their life. No matter how big or small, we've been there, unfortunately. But it's about whether you grow and learn from those experiences and never wanting to be that kind of person ever again, or pushing it under the rug and pretending like it never happened and it wasn't your problem, is where the line of being a good person is usually crossed. I have had friends in the past that cannot take an ounce of accountability for something that they have done or said that has hurted me. They just avoid the issue entirely, or they pretend it's not their problem, or even worse, they act dumb. That is honestly the worst thing they could do. They act dumb, and it's like, it's so draining to a connection, and you feel so invalidated and exhausted trying to explain why you're hurt to someone who acts like it's not their problem, or they simply just don't care. Like, toodles. Not taking accountability for something that you've done that has hurt somebody else and they've voiced that is so weird to me. It's so weird, and definitely not somebody that I want around in my inner circle. Number 3, friends that are fake happy for you. Now, I feel like this goes without saying, but if you have someone that is not celebrating your wins and is really sour and negative when something good happens in your life, I would be really cautious of this person. Because your friends are supposed to be your number 1 supporters, as you are to them. Like, they are your friends. They're supposed to be happy for you. They're supposed to celebrate with you. They're not supposed to be negative and sour and weird about good things happening in your life. Like, and yes, sometimes it's very human to feel jealous about someone else who has achieved something that you have wanted for a very long time. That is so normal. But if your friend cannot push aside their insecurities and their problems to be happy for you, that would raise some alarm bells for me personally. Because 9 out of 10 times, they are usually waiting for your downfall so that they can feel better about themselves in their weird, wacky little minds. And it's so evil. For example, I recently hit 100K and it was so freaking cool. It was so exciting. And I had been working towards that milestone for 4 whole years. When the day finally came, people knew to celebrate. Like, people knew how much of a big deal it was. And boy, did I celebrate. I made like so many different stories and posts about leading up to the number. And then when I hit 100K, there was millions more stories and posts to be posted. My friends were happy for me. They sent me paragraphs, voice notes, videos of them celebrating and being so happy. They reacted, they cared, they listened, and one of them even sent flowers to my door. Like, what the heck? I felt so loved. And that's how you should feel with your friends. I did, however, notice one friend in particular that viewed my many countless stories leading up to the day and also many million stories after hitting 100K. And I didn't hear a single peep from them. Radio silence, crickets, there was nothing. But they were viewing everything, they were seeing everything. This was a little bit weird to me because this was the type of friend that would voice that they watched my videos. I don't even know if they actually did watch my videos. Sometimes things weren't adding up and I had a really weird gut feeling about them. Personally, their absence spoke a lot of volume to me because, in my opinion, your friends should be in your court. They should be on your team. They should not be against you or feel weird when something amazing happens in your life, especially that big. Like, that was huge for me. Even a simple congrats, even a like, a react, something. But I got nothing. And I was like, this is a bit weird. Also, that friend ended up showing their true colors months later and now we're no longer friends, but like totally irrelevant to the segment. But maybe it was a warning sign. Maybe this whole time it was a warning sign. Be careful of these kinds of people because 9 out of 10 times they are waiting for your downfall, and that is really weird from a friend. Number 4, they talk badly about others to you. Spoiler alert, they're talking about you behind your back too. Isn't that great? Now, let's be real. We all have debriefing sessions with our besties where we talk about a situation where we weren't sure if we were a bit of an arsehole or a bit of a bitch, you know, AITA kind of vibes. But somebody who is dragging someone down behind their back to make themselves feel better is someone that you need to be very, very, very careful of. These are the kind of friends that will pick apart somebody's appearance, their personality, however minuscule it may be, they are going to be picking it apart. And then they're going to be besties with this person and hang out with them the next day. Like, that is total insanity. Unfortunately, this two-faced loser will also be doing the same thing to you behind your back because it is simply just how they make themselves feel good. They will pick you apart. They will judge your every move. They will watch you like an eagle. And if you do one thing that pisses them off, or it can be so minuscule and they don't like it, you are going to be on the menu for the next roasting. Bon appetit. I know this from firsthand experience because I was in a friend group and there was one person in particular that would badmouth any person from that friend group if they didn't come to an event or they had something going on, or if they did something so minuscule. Like, this person that was their friend would sit there and just rip them apart behind their back. And like, these were people that would take a bullet for this kind of person, and they're just sitting there ripping them apart. Instantly dropped myself from that. Like, the emotional baggage was way too heavy. Like, oh my God. To be honest, this person is not even worth it. Like, do not keep them around. Please get rid of this person because it's going to be the best thing you ever do. Goodbye. Number 5 is the constant emotional drops with no reciprocation. Now, don't get me wrong, I love being a safe space with my friends, and I love helping my friends out whenever I can and giving them advice and just being mother, you know, I love being mother. But my friends also do the exact same thing to me when I'm in a low spot as well. And let me preface this by saying a friendship solely based on being a therapist to each other or just to one person is not a friendship. That is free therapy. Like, give me your number if that's what you do, because I've got some mental load to take off. No, you do not want to be a free therapist to your friend. That is so dehumanizing to yourself. Like, why are you taking on all this extra baggage for nothing? So when you have a friend that is only coming to you to rant about their life, tell you how crappy their life is, talk about their problems, talk about how sad they are, and there is no solution good enough for them, that should raise some alarm bells. Your alarm bells should be absolutely ringing in your ears if you are going through a terrible day or you're going through something and you reach out to them and it's crickets. They are nowhere to be seen. They're not responding, or even worse, they reply back and say, "Oh, that sucks. My day was so much worse though. And then they talk about their problems. Like, that is not a human being. I am so sorry. That is a literal leech. This little blood-sucking critter is not only going to dry you of your advice and your support, but it is going to suck your mental health. Okay, it's going to suck your mental health dry. Like, you're not going to have nothing. When it comes to these types of friends, I like to think of the saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. You can try and support and love and give all the advice that you can to this friend, but it'll never be enough. At the end of the day, your mental health comes first, your well-being comes first, and they are the only person that can save themselves. They are the only person that has the power to change their situation, but they don't. They never ever do. So you can love this friend from a distance, but as soon as they start ranting to you, you better send them your bank details, because this is not free therapy. That horse don't want to drink. It's just going to stand there and look at you.
Peter, the horse is here.
Number 6 is boy validated friends. By the time you're an adult, this behavior is quite rare. No, actually I take that back. It still happens quite a lot, and it shocks me every time, because the immaturity, insecurity, downright terrible behavior is so shocking and not something I want to deal with in my mid-20s. This is the type of friend that is going to cancel plans with you and ignore you to go and hang out with a guy, text a guy, and then they're going to turn around and look to you for support when this guy screws them over, and then you give them advice and support, and then they turn around and ignore you for another guy, and the cycle of them ignoring you and then coming back to you continues. Isn't it stunning? It's so beautiful. It's gorgeous. If you have a girls' night with this friend, the mood of the night is completely influenced by how much male validation this friend has received. They will also tear you down in front of the opposite sex to make themselves look better. Like, okay. The real snaky ones are going to chat up your boyfriend or go after the guy that you're interested in to prove to themselves that they are better than you in their weird, wacky, insecure little minds. Now, the guy can be a complete jerk in this situation as well, but we're not worried about him right now. We are worried about this so-called friend of yours, because that's not friend behavior. At the end of the day, if this friend was to choose between saving your life or getting a scrap of male validation, you better pick out your goddamn tombstone, because you are done. This person is going to be choosing the damn dude, and you are going to be choosing your self-worth and walking away from this type of person. Unless they really become self-aware and work on themselves, it's not going to get better. There are so many people out there that are going to never compete with you. They're not going to tear you down in front of the opposite sex, and they are never going to ditch you for a scrap of validation. Remember that. Number 7 is the they didn't do that to me friend, aka a friend to all is a friend to none. I'm sure you've heard that quote circulating on the internet at the moment, and for good reason too. To paint a picture, let's say you are dating a guy and this guy treats you terribly, and you can find in your friends about this behavior. Your friends are like, what the hell are you doing? Like, leave this douchebag. He's terrible. I'm really great at storytelling. And you do leave this relationship, and your friends are also happy for you, but you do notice this one friend who remains friends with your now ex, and you ask them about it, and their replies are something along the lines of, oh, well, they didn't do anything to me. Oh, I don't want to cause any drama. I don't want to get involved. I don't want to pick a side. Like, bitch, what? In that situation, they don't have to cut off your ex or make them an enemy, but there is a massive key difference between wanting to be friends with everybody versus wanting to be friendly with everybody. And that is what we're talking about here. Personally, a key aspect of a friendship is loyalty. And if you have a friend that's sitting on the fence wanting to continue a friendship with somebody that has actively treated you like shit, that is so weird to me. I am so sorry, but that is so weird. And that speaks a lot of volume to me about who they are as a person. So technically, they took the trash out themselves, and we love that. Number 8 is a friend who does not respect your time. Now, let me preface this by saying that life can absolutely get in the way. Things happen, plans change, but at the end of the day, your friends are going to understand that, and they're going to be so fine with a rain check. They are going to understand, and they're going to be so fine. What isn't okay is planning something in advance with somebody, and you talk about how excited you are leading up to the day or the time, whatever it may be, and the day or time finally comes and that's just radio silence from them. You don't hear a single peep from them. You can't get a hold of them. No explanation, no communication, and no respect for your time. Now, usually they'll come back with an apology the next day saying that they either forgot or they had other plans, but A simple form of communication, explaining the situation, would have been so much better than ghosting the situation. I lose so much respect in that moment. Like, it's gone. I've taken a step back. We could have rescheduled so easily, and I could have made other plans for the day, and that would have been so fine. But instead, I was left waiting around like an idiot for something that wasn't going to happen in the first place. Like, that is really dog. 1 or 2 times, okay, I understand life gets in the way, but like, communication, baby, it's so easy, it's so free, and it's amazing. Personally, for me, communication and respect of time is an absolute must in a friendship, and that is why this is on the list today. It may not be a big deal to others, but to me, massive. Number 9, they have no long-term healthy connections. Now, before you write that comment, backspace that all, baby, let me explain. I say this with intent towards a certain type of soul, as I completely understand how hard it is to make friends these days. Like, it's freaking hard out here. So if you are a sweet, gorgeous, kind soul with good intentions, and you're just overly a good person, and maybe you're just around shitty people and that's why you have never had a good, stable connection before, if you're a genuine good soul and not a toxic lemon, this segment is not about you, okay? Not about you, don't worry about it. This segment is about the people that cannot maintain a healthy, long-term connection because there's always a reason for it. Maybe because their behavior is intolerable, maybe they are an asshole, maybe they just cannot communicate for the life of them, maybe they are one of the red flags from this list so far and they haven't done anything to better themselves, like whatever it may be, that's who we're talking about today. I honestly think it is such a green light when somebody can maintain healthy long-term connections, and it might just be 1 or 2 things. Like, it might be with their mum, might be their long-term healthy relationship with their partner, it might be just 1 or 2 friends, like whatever it may be. That just shows me that this person can potentially communicate when a hurdle arises, or if they do something wrong, that they're not going to push the blame onto other people. Like, they're going to take accountability and they're going to be like, I'm so sorry. Whereas if somebody doesn't have those things, I kind of speculate and I'm a bit sus about it, because it kind of tells me they don't have longevity or stability in their relationships and friendships for a reason. This honestly might be a personal take, because every person that I have had to cut off in my life has never had a healthy, stable friendship or relationship. And at the start, I'm always like, oh my God, why? Like, this person is so cool, I do not get it. And then they show their true colors and I'm like, oh, there it is. Number 10, they exclude you from plans, events, group chats, whatever it may be. Wait, is my mascara running? Oh my gosh, why did nobody tell me? That's bad. Anybody, and I mean anybody, that goes out of their way to purposely exclude a person from group activities, or just deliberately leaving a person out in general, belongs in the bin. I will never understand the mindset of purposely excluding someone from a group that they're involved with because of some petty, dramatic, insecure high school behavior. Like, I don't get it. I totally understand that you can't always hang out with everybody at the same time always, because plans come up, things change, life gets in the way, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the actual losers that purposely exclude an individual from group activities that have a whole different group chat without this one person in it, makes plans excluding this person, but then talks about said plans in front of this person. Like, what is that disrespectful, childish high school behavior? What is that? I have been this person in this situation where I have been excluded, where I've had group chats without me in it, and it honestly tears you apart. You feel so bad. You feel terrible. You feel unworthy. But let me tell you right now, and let me hold your hand while I tell you, those people that are purposely going out of their way to exclude you and do all that shit to you are not your friends. And your real, true, beautiful friends are never going to make you feel like that. If you have anybody in your life that does that, that purposely goes out of their way to exclude you, that has a whole separate group chat without you in it, put them in the bin. I like to think of this quote from Robin Williams when it comes to these type of friends, and that is, the worst thing in life is to not end up all alone. The worst thing in life is to end up with people who make you feel alone. There is nothing more heartbreaking than being surrounded by people and you feel so disconnected and so alone. But you're surrounded by people, so you shouldn't, but you do. Cutting off these people is going to be the best thing that you can ever do for yourself. Trust me. It's amazing. Suddenly we have Charli joining us today. Hello. Do you have something to say? So now with this list in mind, how do we cut somebody off? What's the steps that we take? How do we do it? In all honesty, you don't have to cut off every single person ever who does you wrong. Everyone is different with how we handle different scenarios and different people, and depending on the severity of what they crossed and what they've done, depends on that. Did that make sense? You might want to distance yourself from them because maybe you don't align anymore, or maybe you both fizzled apart and you want to hold them at a more surface level friend instead of a inner circle bestie. That's completely fine as well. Or maybe you want to completely cut them off because you're so sick of their bullshit and you can't tolerate it anymore, and that is also so fine. I do believe confronting the situation is very healthy if you believe that this friendship is worth saving and someone that you do want in your life. And confronting them in a non-attacking way is the best way to go, and you use statements like I feel instead of you did. The person who has worked on themselves and values the friendship is going to work through this with you. Like, they're going to want this as well. It may get a little heated and a little heavy, and maybe you might need some time apart, and that's completely okay as well. There have been friendships of mine where we've had a little bit of a disagreement, a little bit of a and we just need some time apart, and we come back, reconnect, and we're stronger than ever. It's so good. However, if this person throws a tantrum and completely does a 360 and puts the blame onto you and gets defensive and gets angry and blows everything out of proportion, you've done what you can in this situation. You've confronted them in a non-attacking way, and you've stated how you feel and how hurt you've been with this, or maybe you're trying to apologize, whatever it may be, and they're reacting like this. You are more than welcome to take a big old step back from this person and leave them alone, because you've confronted them, you've shared your feelings, and you've expressed your hurt or tried to apologize, whichever side of the argument you're on here, and they've reacted like that. That is completely on them, and you've done everything that you can, and now you just focus on yourself. You just do you, and you find way better friends. Do you want to say something? Wow, that was so insightful. How do we actually make friends? How do we do it? The most important step right now is to be crystal clear on what an actual friend looks like to you. Write down a list of the traits and experiences that you are not going to tolerate anymore. Like, for example, I am not going to tolerate anybody who cannot take accountability. At this raw age, that is just not okay. And then write down a list of qualities that you would like in a friendship. So, for example, I love my friendships to be adventurous and spontaneous, and also very low maintenance, to the point where I am an introvert and I really need to charge my social battery, and they're going to understand that. And then you're going to look at the list and you're going to figure out which of your friends align and which of your friends need to be dropped down to the acquaintance category, which honestly sounds so harsh, and it really does, but you are allowed to be picky with the people that you have in your inner circle. You're allowed to be picky. You're allowed to want good people. I actually have a video where I tell you guys about how I actually met my dream friends and how you can make dream, beautiful, gorgeous friends as well. I will leave the card up here as well as a little link in the description, and you can go watch that after this video, but don't leave yet. I'm still talking. Don't leave. I love you. Throughout our lifetime, we are going to meet different types of friends, and they are all going to mean something. Maybe it's a lesson, or maybe this friend showed you how to love yourself, or maybe you both experienced something together that was so life-changing. Maybe they inspire you, or maybe they showed you that you never want to experience that type of friend ever again. It is all for something. No matter how short, sweet, sour, painful it was, it all means something. And like, for example, you will have your surface level friends, which I've mentioned a lot in this video, and they're kind of in between acquaintance and good friend. So they're the kind of people that you say hello to when you see them in person and catch up with them on the spot, but you don't actively hang out with this person. It's not that kind of friendship. It's kind of like a work friendship. Like, you love hanging out with your work friends, but you wouldn't hang out with them outside of work. I don't know why that's a universal experience, but it really is. You will have your good friends that you love experiencing life with and maybe doing adventures and exploring with, but maybe you wouldn't lean on them in really deep, dark times. And then you have your ride and dies, and these are your comfort people. These are the rarest of rare. They are so amazing, and they are your people. People that you could never feel drained from, the people that you can talk about literally anything with, the people that make you feel so at home. They are your inner circle, and they are your people, and they're usually the lifetime type of person. What is my hair doing? It's driving me insane. I know this sounds so cliche and so stupid, but it truly does get better. And once you close the door with a toxic friend, and I mean you shut the door, turn the lock, and throw the key away, a new door is going to open with a more aligned, better fitting person, and everything is just going to make sense. It just always gets better. I don't know how to explain it without being cheesy and cliche. It does get better. It really does. I'll be making more videos like this on how to improve your life and how to level up and become your best self, and red flags, green flags, relationships, friendships, all of the above. So don't be shy. Make sure you subscribe subscribe down below so you don't miss out on my videos, and also check out my other videos as well because we have a lot of fun over here. You don't have anything else planned for the night, do you? Where are you going? Don't leave yet. We've got some catching up to do. You can leave if you want, but I'm gonna be sad. I will see you in my video next Sunday. So bye.